Good evening. Glad everybody could come. I want to welcome all of you to Kannapolis City Hall and Police Department headquarters. We're really proud of our facility here, and I'm so honored that we could hold the Hearts and Heroes reception here again this year. I've been a part of a lot of events that have been held here, but none of them have been as warming and meaningful as this one here. Because, you know, we know that lives have been saved, and we get to honor the people who had a part in that. I know that all of you are aware of this, but we're blessed in Cabarrus County to have some of the best first responders in the country. I've traveled in a lot of places in my career, and nowhere have I ever seen a bigger group of dedicated, professional, and just wonderful people that are so dedicated to their profession. They have the training, the knowledge, and the professionalism to respond to any type of emergency. And believe you, I've seen a lot of them at work, and it's just amazing to watch. Our EMS personnel, firefighters, and police officers are always there when we need them. 24/7, all you gotta do is call. And everybody remembers that number. I want to thank all the EMS, fire, and police personnel who are here tonight, and give a special thank you to all of y'all for your dedication, professionalism, and your compassion. You all serve your communities well, and I commend all of you for doing a great job. It takes a special person to do what collectively all of us do. And it really means something when we can do something to help somebody and help save a life. And I'm so very proud of all of you that are being honored here tonight, and I hope that you have a great evening. Thank you.
Welcome to the 6th annual Hearts and Heroes event. This is an event that we at Cabarrus County look very forward to annually. It's a very prized event, and a lot of stuff goes into it, a lot of planning goes into it, and we're very happy to be a host of it, but this wouldn't happen alone. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank several groups that assist us in making this event possible. One being the Cabarrus County Commissioners, and Commissioner Lynn Shue is here, and the Cabarrus County Administration, and I would apologize for them. Most of the county administration tonight are tied up on other things, but they send their regrets because they also enjoyed this meeting. But thank you very much for your support and continued support of EMS by far outside of this event. And also the administrative management team and numerous departments at Carolina's Healthcare System Northeast. I know we've got Tree present and several, but their continued support of cardiac care and just the teamwork we often work with them on in EMS in general is second to none. Now, this event gives us an infrequent opportunity for medical caregivers to be reunited with patients they previously worked diligently with during a very critical medical event in their life. This chain of medical care starts by recognizing the medical need and initiating the 911 call. In many cases, this is done by a loved one that's obviously got a lot of emotion tied to the event as well. At this point, a very qualified 911 telecommunicator is on the other end of the phone call, putting this amazing response system into motion and providing a sense of comfort to the caller while directing initial treatment through the emergency medical dispatch program. The next phase of this response is a group, again, what Chief CHAVIS said, I'll say is second to any in the country, is our highly qualified first responders from the local municipalities and volunteer fire departments. The third step of this is EMS arrival, which is paramedic level advanced life support, and it's the highest life support you can have in the pre-hospital setting. This care is continued through transport to CHS Northeast, where the amazing group of medical caregivers has been alerted to the patient's arrival, and hate to keep repeating myself, but the care our patients receive at Northeast is second to none. So tonight, for several of these cases above, we have the opportunity to reunite some amazing team of medical caregivers with the patients they had the opportunity to help during an extremely challenging medical event in the calendar year of 2018. I would now like to take this opportunity to just simply say thank you for everyone who plays a role in making this fantastic system of care possible, and give a small recognition to all the agencies involved in this chain of care. When I call your name or call your agency, if you could just come see Lieutenant Honeycutt, he'll give you a plaque. And again, this is a small token, but we greatly appreciate everybody's assistance in this, because this is, as described earlier, this is a system that's second to none. Cabarrus County Fire Marshal's Office and Squad 410, Steve Langer. And if you would, just stay up here. I think we're going to do a picture after this is over. Concord Fire Department Chief Ray Allen. We'll expedite it a little bit. Kannapolis Fire Department Division Chief Kirk Beard. Coldwater Fire Department and Chief Jim Preddy. This one's kind of sentimental to me because this is where I started in 1985. And Jim Preddy's got a lot to do with the reason I'm standing here today. Mount Pleasant Fire Department Chief Jeff Watts, Deputy Chief Jeff Watts. Midland Fire Department Chief Alan Burnett. Harrisburg Fire Department Chief Brian Dunn. Allen Fire Department and Fireman and First Responder Jerry Helms. Flow Store Fire Department Captain Scott Bingler. And a gentleman that plays a huge role in this via the telecommunication system, and then more times than not in the county when we run calls, we have the pleasure of serving with the Cabarrus County deputies, many times on medical calls, Sheriff Van Shaw. Concord Police Department Deputy Chief Jimmy Hughes. Kannapolis Police Department Chief Woody Chavis. Carolina's Healthcare System Northeast Administration and Respiratory Care Tree Tang. He was here, maybe he stepped out, but that's okay. Carolina's Healthcare Northeast Emergency Room, Paula Evans. And Carolina's Healthcare System Northeast Patient Care Services and Cardiac and Intensive Care Unit, Ms. Rhonda Wright. Now I'd like to take this opportunity. We had a situation last year that we hadn't dealt with in 24 years. Dr. Craig Corey served the Cabarrus County EMS system as medical director for 24 years, was fantastic at his role in doing that, and was a great friend to all of us. He is still doing very well, has accepted a position elsewhere, so he is no longer here. So in September, we had the great pleasure to introduce a new medical director to our system, and we're very excited about it, Dr. Catherine Waggy.
Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us tonight on this wonderful occasion. I'm Dr. Catherine Waggy, for those of you who I haven't met yet. I'm the new medical director for Cabarrus EMS. I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I started my medical journey in EMS. I've worked in a lot of places, and it's a true passion of mine, so I'm very happy to be here. I was lucky enough to take over this amazing job from Dr. Craig Corey, who's been a wonderful mentor to me and many of the people who are here tonight. I'm so thankful to be part of this amazing event. When I look around the room and see all of you here, the word that comes to mind is family. There are many different families for me in this room. My own personal family that's here tonight, my new CHAVIS EMS family, my CHAVIS First Responder family, my emergency department family, my larger Northeast family, and the survivors and loved ones who are here tonight are now a part of all of these different families that we have here. It's a very large, loud, hardworking family that I'm so proud to be a part of. Our honored guests are now lifelong members of this group. There's no getting away from us. We as members of this medical community count ourselves lucky to have had a meaningful impact on your lives, to give you a second chance at all the hopes and dreams and goals that you have yet to accomplish, to give you more time to spend with family and friends that you may not have otherwise had. What you may not realize is that you are now forever imprinted on our hearts as well, that we will all remember your names and your faces for the rest of our lives, and we will carry you with us. Do not think their help in a dire situation was a one-time offering. Each and every one of the people in this room will continue to support you, help you, and care for you for the rest of your life. Tonight, we are also honored to have Dr. Joseph DORE with us. He played a critical role in saving the life of one of our guests tonight. Dr. DORE is a colleague of mine. He has taught me many things. We have taken care of many sick people together, and he is one of the most genuine people I've ever met. I'm a pretty positive person, but he outshines me with his positivity from start to end, every shift and every day that I see him. A little bit about him. He received his medical degree from Louisiana State University Medical Center in New Orleans in 1995. Sorry, that's my little one over there. Before becoming one of our heroes in tonight's ceremony, Dr. DORE received numerous accommodations during his service with the United States Army, including the Bronze Star. Dr. DORE served as a combat medic during Operation Desert Storm and was the brigade surgeon for the 256th Infantry Brigade, serving our troops during Operation Iraqi Freedom. After serving as an emergency physician at Landstuhl, Regional Medical Center in Germany, Dr. DORE joined Carolina's healthcare system as an emergency physician, which is where he works now. We are so thankful for your service to our country and the continuing service you provide the residents of CHAVIS. Dr. DORE is joined tonight by his lovely wife, Lorna. Please welcome Dr. DORE.
Good evening. My name's Joe DORE. As they said, I'm one of the ER doctors at Northeast, and I'd like to start by thanking Hearts and Heroes, CHAVIS EMS, and everybody here, CHS Northeast, for inviting me here tonight. When I was asked to be a keynote speaker for this year's Hearts and Heroes, I was so very nervous. And it's not because I don't like talking in front of groups. I'm actually okay talking in front of groups, but it's like, what do you talk about, okay? What am I gonna talk about? What am I gonna be the keynote speaker of? Because this was a huge night. I'm sorry, normally I like to walk around and talk, but they say I gotta stand here now, so I'm gonna stand right here. So this was a huge day that started off like any other day, but how do you like wrap this up? What do you talk about? So I'm from Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Where is that? If you don't know where Port Sulphur is, it's okay. You're in a good line of people who have no idea where this is. In fact, the only reason you know where Port Sulphur is if you fished. If you like fishing and you want to go out in the Gulf of Mexico, you got to go out that Northeast Pass and it'll take you through Port Sulphur. So that's where I grew up. Fast forward. I knew I wanted to be a doctor ever since I was like 6 years old. That's all I've ever wanted to be. I have children now that are struggling with what they want to be. That was never my problem. I always knew I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. So fast forward, I'm a senior in high school. I know I want to go to medical school. I know I got to go to pre-med. I meet a very cool recruiter who was very smart, and he said, well, it's a good dream, but how are you going to pay for it? Louisiana Army National Guard can put you through college. It can give you some medical experience. It can help you serve your country as a combat medic. And all this can help you get into medical school. All right? Sounds like a plan. How hard could it be, right? So on my 18th birthday, I'm in Fort Leonard Wood doing push-ups for basic training. The next year, I'm at Fort Sam, Houston. I'm now in the Army National Guard as a combat medic. Great. Plans coming together. I'm a medic. I'm assigned to a MASH in New Orleans, Louisiana. And fast forward about 1990, I am, go Tigers, all right? I'm now sitting at LSU in Baton Rouge, and I am studying my biochemistry finals, and I get the phone call. Pack your bags, we're going to war. No, I don't think so. I'm a little busy here. I got finals, I got all these things to do. Tell you what, you guys go, I'll catch you on the next one, okay? And then they came back, we're negotiating, they came back. No, you will pack your bags and you will meet us, or the MPs will give you a ride down here, okay? Now we're negotiating. So I see there's very little flexibility in Army negotiations. So I say, got it. I'm there. I go there. We go to, because y'all remember what's going on? 1990, Saddam goes in. So come that winter, I skip out of my finals. I go to Saudi Arabia. I'm a combat medic in Desert Storm. It was a great time. We had a blast. Lots of good memories were had. I come back, okay? Now I'm back. I get into medical school. I'm commissioned. I stay in the Guard. I'm now an officer. I go through residency. I do a 5-year residency in emergency medicine and internal medicine. And now I switch from a MASH to a combat infantry brigade. Oh, heaven. Combat tanks, armored personnel carriers, artillery. This is, if you like the Army, you like this stuff. This is good. This is snipers. This is everything I love. This is why I love the Army. So now I'm the brigade surgeon, which is just a fancy title. Surgeon's a way of saying like the top doc. Okay, it's not like I did surgery or anything. I was the top doc in the brigade. I was like a medical advisor to a general. So now I'm back in, I'm doing my residency, I finish it. I actually come to Charlotte in 2000 and I start with an ER group back in 2000. My family, it's starting to grow. And then in 2003, I get the next call. Pack your bags, we're going back in. So wait a minute. It's a bad time for me. I can't do this. But I had a very, very cool brigade commander who said, tell you what, Joe, finish up what you're doing, get your family taken care of, get all your affairs in order, and you don't have to do all this pre-training with us. We got like 6 months of training at Fort Hood. You can blow all that off, and we'll meet you for our desert training at NTC at Fort Irwin, and then you could just come with us straight into Baghdad. That actually is not a bad idea. I had a wife who was super, super supportive. Her idea was always, well, of course you're gonna go. Come on, you're their surgeon. Why would you not go? Why would you ever not go when they ask you to go? So she takes care of my 4 children and I get to go. By the way, if you have to deploy to war or stay home and raise 4 kids, all right? All right, so Saddam pushes us out, right? It's actually an awesome political maneuver. When the U.S. backs up, Saddam tells his people, I forced the Americans out, ha-ha! And he builds a trophy to himself. He calls it Victory Over America, and that's what this palace is, all right? This is me standing inside of Victory Over America, where a large sunroof was just installed, well, actually probably 6 months before that, by a Tomahawk missile launched from the ship and just blew the crud out of it. I love this because it was right over a meeting room. Just the intelligence that we had, we suspected we knew where he was to the minute. And so this was a laser-guided Tomahawk strike, hit it, and I'm standing there where the roof caved in and just thinking, I'm glad I'm on this Army. This is a really good Army to work for. That's me sitting in Saddam's throne. So I've heard this word thrown about. I'm going to say it again. I was very blessed, okay? I was very blessed to do what I did, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. Now, no more talking about me, no more talking about medicine. I want to talk about what brought me here tonight. And that is lupus. No, my wife is going to kill me. I am not talking about lupus, okay? No medicine stuff. But we do have a very good friend who got a job at the Lupus Foundation of America. That was a benefit they did on March 17th. It was a Saturday. You need a tux to go to this ball. So I get a tux and I go to the ball. And then Sunday I go to work and my wife's like, I'll take it back for you. I'll return your tux. That's fine. Come Monday, my tux is still sitting there and I'm getting charged for it. I work that night at 5 o'clock, okay? And I'm getting billed for a tux. So what do? I'm working at 5. I will bring the tux back to the mall. I'll drop it off, get in my car, and I'll go to work then. So, y'all see where this is going, right? Monday comes, throw the tux in the car, go to the mall, go to Concord Mills, bring it in, drop it off, and I'm walking out, and in the corner of my eye, there's the food court, right? The right is the food court, the left is my car and my shift that starts in like 45 minutes. I gotta go to work, but there's somebody lying on the ground. And you know that story, that Good Samaritan story? Do you ever wonder what was going through the mind of the scribe and the priest? They're wandering past this guy who clearly needs help, and they're good people. I mean, it's a priest. These are holy people, but they just walked on by. Why? Always wondered what was going through their mind. Well, I'd like to tell y'all that as I was walking, I just felt the need to jump in and say, "Get out of the way, I got this, I'm a doctor." But that's not what I thought. What I thought was, he looks good. They got this. He's fine. I think he's breathing. He probably just fainted, okay? Then there's that little nagging voice that said, just go say hi. Just go, "Hey guys, hi. I'm Dr. DORE. Do y'all need you?" They backed away from me. "Tag, you're it." Okay, I couldn't get the word, "I'm Dr. DORE. I'm an ER doctor. Do y'all need any help?" That never left my lips. It was, "Hi," bam, they're out of the way. But it was amazing. I had 2 awesome people there with me. I have a paramedic and I have a nurse. Wow, okay. So they say, he just fainted. He just passed out. And so I sit there and I hold his head and sometimes, I don't know if any of y'all play video games, but if any of y'all play, some of my favorite games are like Red Dead Redemption, where you can take time and just slow it down to things move very, very slowly. Assassin's Creed does it, Red Dead Redemption does it. Just you can slow these things down. That's what happened. Everything just kind of slowed down, and I looked at Mr. Atkins' face, and I knew what was going on. Because initially I go through my mind, maybe he's choking, maybe it's vasovagal, maybe it's, I'm not sure. And I think they knew what was going on, but they teach you in residency, the hardest thing about intubating people is the decision to do it. Once you know you're gonna do it, it's actually pretty flippin' easy, okay? Once you just gotta know you're gonna do it. So all I said was, "I don't feel a pulse." And then like everything, you know that Red Dead Redemption thing? Time sped up again. Start CPR, you go get an AED, I do jaw thrust, open the airway, everything starts happening fast again. Bam, 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 bam. So all you needed was somebody, everybody knew what to do, they just needed that one little thought instilled that, all right, let's do this. So now it hits me, oh man, this is happening. He didn't choke on food, he didn't faint, this is real, and I am definitely gonna be late for my shift, okay? But most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, we're surrounded by family members, we're surrounded by people, and I don't want to have that talk, okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I bet a lot of people in here know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to have this talk. I don't want to look a family man, a husband, a wife, a daughter, a son, I don't want to look them in the eyes and say, because they're going to look back at me with hope and just, they hope so much. And I got to look them in the eyes and say, I am so sorry for your loss. I don't want to have that talk. We did everything we could, but we just couldn't save him. Y'all know that talk. It's gut-wrenching. It robs you, it drains you from the core. I didn't want to have that talk, but I sure as hell didn't want to have that talk in the food court. So we're going. And then EMS has already been called. So when I'm looking, Mr. Atkinson, I apologize, but at this point, you are no longer a man to me. You are a heart and a brain, and that's all I can see, okay? Because if I see you as a husband, things get cloudy. I see you as a heart and a brain, and I can work with a heart and a brain. So I'm doing, and then the AED comes back, okay? The AED comes back, we put it on, we're doing CPR, and I say the words, okay, hold compressions. And then the two most beautiful words in the English language. Taco Bell. No, I'm sorry. You're right. Shock advised. Okay, why? Why are those beautiful words? Okay? Hear me out. I'm a very simple man, and my thoughts are very easy. You have normal sinus rhythm, okay? You have VTAC, you have VFib, you have asystole, and down here, you have a rock. You are an inanimate object, okay? If you're asystole, you are this close to being an inanimate object. But I can work with VTAC. I can work with VFib. Shock advised, you know what that tells me? Hope. We got this, okay? Bam! Continue compressions. Just don't even think about it. It's almost like after the shock, after the pop, it just comes out. Continue compressions. I'm holding jaw thrust and CPR's going on. Hold compressions, been 2 minutes. Shock advised. I got goosebumps. This is doable. This is not the talk. This is doable. We can do this. And then people have talked about what an amazing service we have. And let me just describe what I'm seeing, okay? Fire rescue comes, EMS comes. I'm able to get back, stand up, assess what's going on. And I got my hand on my phone. I'm about to call my partner and say, get room 1 ready, get room 1 ready. Because I know he's going to Northeast. Because wherever somebody's coming, I'm going to say, follow me, follow me. So they come, and it's like a NASCAR pit crew, right? They come in, they try to get an IV goes in. I think it was an IO, but they get a line, they draw blood, they start compressions, they do an airway, they give epi. It's all happening like this. It's a beautiful choreography. Everybody's doing their part. And all I'm thinking is, I gotta get to Northeast. I gotta get there. So what do I gotta do? Time out, back to me. I'm a doctor. I get to talk about me for a little bit. When I got back from Iraq, all right, I've been gone for 14 months. I got some leave, but I was back. My wife meets me in the airport. Been gone for 14 months. I'm telling some boring story. She's whatever. And we walk out and we get in the parking lot, and I'm looking for our minivan. Remember, I got 4 kids. We got a minivan. I'm looking for the minivan. And she holds up a key fob, and a 2006 GT convertible goes bloop, bloop, and she says, welcome home, baby. And I say, I have the best wife in the world. Well, I still have that car. I'm not getting rid of that car. You don't get rid of a GT that your wife welcomed you home from Iraq with. So what do? I need to get to the hospital, and I need to get there fast. I need to get there really fast. They are wrapping Mr. Atkinson up, and I tell them, you know what? Start amiodarone. Start cold fluids, okay? This is a salvageable person. We have a pulse. We're breathing for him. We've secured his airway. Go ahead and hang the amiodarone. So it's all the stuff I would have done in the trauma bay, but we can do it out there at the field because they got it. They're hanging it. They're pushing it in. And so I got to get to Northeast. So I jump in my car, and I see a lot of respected law enforcement officials here, so I'm going to say I jumped in my car and responsibly obeyed all the traffic rules all the way to the emergency department, where I came to the hospital and I told my triage nurse what was going on, and they looked at me with the usual, what? Like, no, there's man down, CPR in progress, we got a pulse back, he's going to come in, and all right, room 1's opened up, we get him in there, and then I meet the wife for the second time. This time I got my lab coat and my stethoscope around my neck, and they come in, and we do our work, and they get him up to the ICU, okay? It was beautiful. It was unlikely. It was, I don't know. Now he's becoming a person again. He can't just be a brain and a heart. Now he's a man with a wife, okay? And I can tell her, first 24 hours are going to be the hardest. It's going to be the most critical. We don't know what his neurological recovery is like. But in my opinion, the biggest hurdle was just crossed. Now we watch and we pray, okay? So, taken away from all that, what are the odds? What are the odds that I would be at the mall right then and there? What are the odds that my wife wouldn't bring my tux back? Like 50%, actually, that's not that bad. But what are the odds that I would be there to return it and be there to see him? I guess it all depends on your viewpoint of life, okay? If you want to see that all of this, it's just a big series of chance encounters, and our friend getting to work at the ball, and us going to the ball, the tux rental, the bystanders there, the nurse, the paramedic that were all just there. If you look at the infinitesimal odds of all of us being right there, it's pretty slim. This is really slim, and it probably shouldn't have happened like this. If you want to look at life a little bigger and say maybe we're all part of something bigger, then the odds actually get more in our favor. It's more like 100%. It was going to happen. We just needed to play our roles in it. So lastly, Mr. Atkinson, thank you for coming here tonight with your family and letting us be a part of your story. Your story's not over. God's not done with you. He still has plans for you. I don't know if it's as a father or a husband or whatever, but your services are still required here. You've given me a great gift. Thank you for reminding me that it's not all just a series of random events. We're all part of something bigger, and we're here together. Thank you.
That's a little tough to follow, to say the least. Thank you, Dr. DORE. As Dr. DORE mentioned, on March the 19th, 2018, Hubert Atkinson was at Carolina Place Mall and collapsed. Dr. DORE, as he stated, just happened to be at the mall. He was able to assess Mr. Atkinson and begin CPR until first responders arrived. If Dr. DORE and Mr. Atkinson and his family would please step forward at this time.
It is hard to follow Dr. DORE's presentation. It was truly awesome. And the only way to explain everything that happened was that God is still in the miracle working business. And for Dr. DORE, for the gentleman who was there, who was a former police officer, for the nurse, for every paramedic, the fire department, the police department, for all that came together. You all was a part of a miracle working God who allowed my dad to still be here and to still be a walking miracle. Thank you.
I just want to thank Dr. DORE and just all the first responders that came to the mall. And, you know, I just want to say thank you. for the work that you do. And those great people at Northeast, is it? They are the greatest staff in the world. And I just want to say thanks to everyone that had a part in saving my life. You know, it was not just the doctor at the mall and those first responders, but it was just the whole procedure of getting me back up on my feet and going again. And I just thank God for doctor and first responders and all, you know, just those people that give their life so that I can still be here. And I just want to say thanks to everyone.
At this time, we would like to invite any of the first responders, medical responders, or hospital staff that was involved in Mr. Atkinson's care to please step forward for a group photo. On February the 13th, 2018, Mr. Lewis, I'm going to try my best to say this, Santi John? Very good. Mr. Santi John's wife was awakened to the sound of her husband not breathing effectively and called 911. At this time, we would ask Mr. Santi John and his family to please step forward.
I'd like to thank God, first of all, for letting me stay here with my family, the doctors, the EMS staff, the firefighters, everyone that was involved that night. A big thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. February the 21st, 2018, Ms. Tish Thompson. Unfortunately, Ms. Thompson has been delayed and was not able to join us. 1 year ago today, she was standing in the pharmacy at Walmart, and a bystander by the name of Lindsay Merriman, who's a pharmacist, began CPR after realizing that one of her coworkers was in cardiac arrest. Is Ms. Merriman here by chance? Okay. If any of the first responders or medical staff that was involved with Ms. Thomas's care are present, please stand and be recognized at this time. On April the 27th, 2018, Ms. Penny Singleton. Ms. Singleton and her sister had just attended a movie at Concord Mills Mall. Following the movie, Ms. Singleton became dizzy and collapsed in the parking lot outside the theater. Bystanders and Ms. Singleton's sister performed CPR with 911 telecommunicator assistance until first responders arrive. At this time, we would like to ask Ms. Singleton and her family to please step forward.
We were going to try and do this without crying, but it's probably not going to happen. I don't have any memories for 6 days from the 27th, so I don't remember anybody who helped. But I'm so happy that you guys have this event so that I can come and just say a very sincere thank you to anyone who had anything to do with my recovery, and that's from anybody who helped at the movie theater, through the hospital, the ER, the ICU, the cardiac care unit, the inpatient rehab, the cardiac rehab, the physical therapy, occupational therapy, the speech therapy, everything that I've been through. I just want to say a very heartfelt thank you to everyone. I'm so happy to still have my life. I'm so happy to have my sister here. She's not listed up there, but Erica did the bystander CPR because she has been a lifeguard since she was 16 years old. And she has been CPR certified for over 20 years, and the first time she ever had to use it was on me. So a big thank you to her as well, and to my sister, and to my niece who are here with me today, and to my mother. They moved me in with them, they helped me rehab. When I first woke up and couldn't name 10 colors or 10 animals, my niece made up quizzes to try and help me get my cognitive abilities back. So I'm back to the same me I was before all of this happened, and that's because of all of you. So thank you very much to everyone.
I talked to Ann on the phone briefly, and I was telling her it was, I had been certified for 22 years and was thankful that most of the all of the organizations I had worked with, we were preventative enough that I never had to use it. And the first time I had to use it was on my sister. And I started out exactly the way my training got me. I checked her, I cleared her airways, and then I just started screaming at her. I lost everything. But thankfully, there was a man in the parking lot who yelled, "Do you guys need any help?" And of course, we had gone to a movie at 6 o'clock that night. We are very big Marvel fans. And like we've done before, we came out of it, it was amazing, and so we immediately bought tickets to another one. So this was our second movie of the night that we came out of, and by this time, unfortunately, when I went to call 911, my phone was dead. So someone walked up from his car, got out and said, "Do you guys need anything?" And again, I got it. "Can you call 911? Hadn't started yelling at her yet. And then I was clearing her airways, I was trying to find a pulse, and then I started screaming at her. And there was someone else who walked up and said to me, "I think we need to start CPR." And then it all kicked in. And I was right back where I needed to be, but there was a minute there where the panic took over completely. And so there are some faces that seem familiar here tonight. I remember everything clearly, and at the same time, there are so many fuzzy edges to it all. But I am so grateful. We were so excited to find out that this event even exists, to be able to say thank you to so many people. And as we come up on Penny's anniversary, I told Ann about it, I know they're going to mention it. We are going to go because another Marvel movie comes out on April 26th this year.
We're very big Marvel.
We're very big Marvel fans, and so we're going to celebrate that we got a second chance and that Penny will be here for it. And anyone who is up there who wants to go, your ticket's on us. We would love for you to come with us that night. And we are doing a team for the American Heart Association Heart Walk, and whatever money is left over, we're putting into the team to give back so that other people can know CPR and help their families and be able to enjoy something like this because they get a second chance. Thank you so much, Charles.
On June the 21st, 2018, Miss Tanya Davis, I apologize. Miss Davis was at home having a conversation with her family when she suddenly became unresponsive. After noticing a problem, her family called 911, and shortly after the first responders arrived, she went into cardiac arrest. At this time, we would ask Miss Davis and her family to please come forward. Ms. Davis, would you or your family like to say a few words?
Hey everybody, I'm LaTanya's daughter, and I'm the one who called and found her unresponsive. Sorry. Me and my mom were like best friends. And when I saw her like that, my world was ending. All I could think about was this was my mom's last days. And it wasn't nothing I can do about it. And when the first responders came, one of the girls was about to announce that my mom was gone. And then another girl came in and told me that they brought her back and they needed to hurry up and get her to the hospital. I have had ups and downs with my faith in God. But when I say I watched him lay his hands on each and every staff at the hospital, all the responders, when I say there's a God, there's a God. And he did so many wonders on my mom. If you would have saw what I saw, to see her now, you'll be saying the same thing I said. So I just want to thank everybody who was part of the team and who was a part of helping my mom be where she is today. Thank you.
I want to give honor to God. I don't have a whole lot of memory, as the other young lady said. All I know is what my daughter tell me. But I want to thank everybody. She told me a lot of people played a part in it. And I want to thank everybody. My sister, my son, he got down here. We're not from the area. We've only been here maybe 6 years. So when I tell y'all, North Carolina, CMC Northeast, first responders, police, fire department, they have been wonderful. This was really, really a sign that you all are amazing, and thank you.
On December the 29th, 2018, Ms. Brenda Martinez Navarro's husband called 911 and initiated CPR until first responders arrived. If Ms. Martinez Navarro and her family would please come forward.
Hi, this is my, don't cry, I was the one who called 911. I was actually, my best friend was at the house. We were having like a little get together because I haven't seen my best friend in a while. And I was actually asleep when my little brother came bursting into the room saying, call 911. And I just woke up, so I was like, what's going on? And all I saw was my mom. I thought at first she was having a seizure, but she actually went into cardiac arrest. And I immediately started freaking out. I had no idea what to do because in school they tell you call 911 immediately, but they never tell you how terrifying and scary how it is. And I would like to apologize whoever was on the phone because I was yelling at her, screaming at her, hurry up, get here please. I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life. I thought that was the last time I was going to see my mother. Don't cry. I was screaming at her, telling her to wake up, don't leave me here alone, you have to see me graduate. And yeah, I want to thank whoever came, the first responders who came. I want to thank you for bringing my mom back to life. That's it.
Like I said, I'd like to thank all the first responders that came. You know, you go through all these classes of CPRs for many years. You don't think you're never going to use it, but to see her die in my hands and to jump in and then the responders came in real quick. I'm sorry. I thank you guys very much, very, very much. You don't know how much I thank you.
At this time, we would like to ask any of the first responders, medical responders, or hospital staff, and if I'm not mistaken, the lady you were yelling at on the phone is here. If you would please come forward at this time for a group photo. Unfortunately, not all of our survivors could be here with us this evening. However, we still want to recognize their heroes. If you will please stand if you were involved in the care of the survivors in the upcoming slides. On November the 7th, 2018, Mr. Bob Timmons, who lives in Virginia and unfortunately was not able to attend tonight, however, he has sent a letter that he's asked to be read. Please welcome CARES Coordinator Ann Coffey to read Mr. Timmons' letter in his behalf.
Good evening. Wednesday, November 7th, 2018 began as an ordinary day that would prove to be anything but ordinary. I awoke early to travel from my home in Virginia to consult on a construction site in Fort Mill, South Carolina. After meeting with contractor representatives and the architect, we went to lunch. After lunch, I then decided to stop by the construction site to review the construction progress before heading home. The site superintendent was not there, and I began my journey on I-85 North. I had made it through Charlotte and was now in Concord, happy with the light traffic and the thought of arriving home earlier than usual. Just before getting to exit 60, my life was about to change forever. In less than 3 seconds, I went from feeling good to feeling lightheaded to on the verge of passing out. I had never experienced this type of feeling before, and I knew I had to get off of the interstate to prevent having an accident. As I reviewed my options and focused on staying conscious, God placed a rest area in front of me and no traffic to prevent me from exiting onto the ramp. I pulled in, parked, and set the air conditioner on high and leaned toward one of the vents. After about 3 to 4 minutes, I had recovered enough to realize I was in serious trouble. I knew I needed help, but I didn't know where I was to tell anyone my location. I decided to make my way to the nearby hospital that I recalled seeing signs for along the interstate. As I exited the rest area and merged back onto I-85 North, I could see the next exit would take me to the hospital. I veered onto the ramp of exit 60 and began looking for the hospital trauma center signs. God had already turned the traffic signal to green at the top of the exit ramp, which allowed me to make a right turn without stopping. I continued on and noticed a sign that had the word cardiac with an arrow pointing right. I turned into the medical campus and followed another cardiac sign with an arrow that led me to a parking lot for Northeast Cardiac Rehab Center. I found a space in front and was able to walk into the office and tell the receptionist I thought I was having a heart attack. She brought me a chair and immediately called the medical staff for help. A nurse practitioner came to assess me and indicated that I had no blood pressure. He asked if he could call 911. The next thing I remember was the nurse practitioner exclaiming, "Praise God, he's back." The first responders arrived within 2 minutes of the call due to being close by. I recall the nurse practitioner telling the paramedics that I was in full cardiac arrest for about 2 to 3 minutes and was administered CPR, defibrillated before regaining a pulse. I was transported to CHS Northeast and immediately cared for by an ER physician and other medical professionals who were waiting for my arrival. After my condition stabilized, I called my wife Linda to tell her that she would need to come to Concord. At the time of the call, our neighbor, aptly named Grace, was visiting Linda and insisted on driving her. On Friday, 2 days after the initial cardiac arrest, the same sensation occurred. However, I was in the hospital and hooked up to monitors. The nursing staff and on-call physician responded immediately. The episode was caught early, and I did not go into cardiac arrest. During this episode, a nurse, Sharon, was at my side and was holding my hand. She looked at me and told me not to be afraid and that she was praying for me. I had no additional episodes or complications after that event. God protected and guided me directly to the medical aid I needed and placed signs so I could see His presence. Bob Timmons.
Thank you, Ann. On January the 10th, 2018, would any of the medical responders and hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand up and be recognized? On February the 7th, 2018, would any of the medical responders or hospital staff that were involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized? On April the 19th, 2018, we would ask any of the medical responders or hospital staff that was involved in this patient's care to please stand and be recognized. As we go through the remaining slides, we realize that some of our responders and hospital staff are unable to attend tonight because heroes don't rest. So we set up a Skype presentation so that they could still be part of this celebration. On May the 3rd, 2018, we would invite any of the medical responders or hospital staff that were involved in this patient's care to please stand and be recognized. On June the 10th, 2018, we would ask any of the medical responders or hospital staff that was involved in this patient's care to please stand and be recognized. August the 18th, 2018, would any of the medical responders or hospital staff that were involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized. On September the 24th, 2018, again, would any of the medical responders or hospital staff that was involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized. On October the 8th, 2018, would any of the medical responders and hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized. October the 28th, 2018. Would any of the medical responders or hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized? On November the 5th, 2018, this patient is unable to attend, but he and his family send their deepest thanks and appreciation to all who took part in his care. Would any of the medical responders and hospital staff that were involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized? On November the 17th, 2018, again, would any of the medical responders and hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized? November the 26th, 2018, we'd ask that any of the medical responders or hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized. December the 2nd, 2018, would any of the medical responders or hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized. December the 11th, 2018. This survivor was also unable to attend, but he and his family wanted to send their deepest thanks and appreciation to all who had part in his care. This patient went into cardiac arrest during a transfer from CHS Kannapolis ER to CHS Northeast ER. The crew was able to get a pulse back before more responders arrived. Great job by both hospitals and the crew. Would any of the medical responders or hospital staff involved in this patient's care please stand and be recognized? Tonight we want to recognize one more cardiac arrest survivor, Miss Karen Ledford. Karen survived a sudden cardiac arrest on July the 12th, 2013 in her home. Thanks to the help of her husband, who discovered her to be unresponsive, and 2 of her neighbors who did CPR. And with the assistance from EMS and the volunteer fire department, she was taken to the hospital. 13 days later, she left the hospital with an implanted internal defibrillator that she named Sparky. After Karen's cardiac event, she wanted to help others. So she became a CPR certified instructor with the American Heart Association and started teaching CPR classes. Money collected from teaching these classes and conducting fundraisers goes towards the purchase of AEDs for nonprofit organizations. At this time, please join me in welcoming Karen Ledford. Tonight, Karen is giving her 5th AED donation to Wings of Eagle Ranch. Wings of Eagles Ranch is an 88-acre ranch in Cabarrus County that specializes in a practice known as therapeutic horseback riding and assists children and adults with special needs. Karen is not only donating an AED to the facility, but is also teaming up with Cabarrus County EMS to provide CPR and first aid training to the staff members. Please give a warm welcome to Christine Cronin, Executive Director, Terry Pursuti, and Sabrina Owens from the Board of Directors of Wings of Eagles, I'm sorry for that, Wings of Eagles Ranch to accept the AED. This concludes tonight's presentation. Cabarrus County EMS would like to thank everyone for attending the reception. We'd also like to acknowledge the support from our allied agencies, and especially the support from CHS Northeast. All of our hearts will receive a framed copy of their group photo in the mail in a few weeks. If we could have all of the Cabarrus County EMS personnel please come forward for a group photo. Thank you for attending the 6th Annual Hearts and Heroes.
Next